Comfort feels like a warm blanket, right? Like a soft pillow to rest your head on after a long day. But that's the cozy lie we tell ourselves. Comfort isn't just about peace or rest. It can be, honestly, a toxic sedative that slowly numbs your ambitions and dulls your edge. It lulls you into a false sense of security, convincing you that everything is fine when deep down, you're just asleep. It's the subtle hand that holds your dreams hostage, whispering that you don't need to risk, don't need to struggle, don't need to change. But comfort doesn't care about your purpose or your passions. It wants you still, quiet, and compliant. That feeling of ease, it's seductive, yeah, but it's also a trap, a slow fade into a life half-lived. Real growth demands discomfort, not sedation. Real dreams require you to wake up and push past that lull. Comfort zones are sold to us as safe havens, places where we can exist without fear or failure. But that's a dangerous myth. These zones are not safe. They're dead zones. You might be in a familiar job that pays the bills, but honestly, just drains your soul. Or in a lukewarm relationship that offers routine, but not connection. Maybe you never left your small town, because it's comfortable, known, predictable. But living in comfort this way is like lying in a coffin with Wi-Fi. You're breathing, scrolling, smiling, going through the motions, but you're not truly alive. The illusion of safety keeps you frozen, convinced that change equals danger, that discomfort equals doom. But safety doesn't come from avoidance. It comes from learning to live and grow through uncertainty. From childhood, society teaches us to shrink ourselves, to avoid making waves. Be careful, they say. Don't make a scene. Stay in your lane. Those warnings are code for conformity, for playing small, for silencing your boldest parts. We learn to fear discomfort, as if it were like a monster lurking in the dark. But every person you admire, every person who has made a real impact, broke through that conditioning. They stepped through fear and fire. They refused to be contained by the limits others set for them. Shrinking might feel safe, but it's suffocating. Growth demands expansion, and expansion means discomfort. You can't bloom in a pot that's too small for your roots. We love to tell ourselves, growth begins where comfort ends. Because, well, it's true, but the ego doesn't want to hear that. Comfort zones are where your ego sits on a throne, convincing you that you're enough, that you're safe there. Routines grow stale, creativity dries up, and your identity hardens into a mask you wear to avoid change. The ego fears challenge because it threatens the fragile image it's built, so it clings to comfort, to sameness. But that pleasant numbness comes at a cost. The part of you meant to create, to evolve, to surprise yourself slowly, withers and dies. Growth means stepping off the throne, accepting uncertainty, and letting go of the ego's demand for control. Every moment you spend wrapped in comfort is a moment lost from the edge. And the edge, that wild, precarious boundary, is where life truly happens. It's where you confront your fears, confess your truths, take leaps without guarantees. It's messy, terrifying, and unpredictable, but it's also electrifying. On the edge, you fail and rebuild, fall and fly, break and heal. That's where your heart races and your spirit awakens. Staying inside comfort might feel safe, but it dulls your senses. The edge might be frightening, but it's the only place you'll find the raw, real experience of being alive. The question is, are you willing to stand there and feel the pulse of life? What if discomfort isn't chaos, but something sacred? What if those moments when everything feels like it's falling apart are actually the signal of your next evolution? The breakdown before a breakthrough isn't a mistake or punishment. It's a necessary part of transformation. Like a forest, fire, clearing the way for new growth. Discomfort clears old patterns, beliefs, and fears that no longer serve you. Sacred chaos is the wild, untamed space where you shed what's holding you back and step into new possibilities. It's painful, yes, but pain can be a teacher, a signpost pointing toward growth. Embracing discomfort as sacred chaos means trusting the process, even when you can't see the path clearly yet. It's not the right time. It's too risky. I'm not ready. We tell ourselves these lies dressed as logic, but they're really just fear wearing a mask. Comfort convinces you that waiting means control, that delay equals safety. But in truth, delay is paralysis. It's procrastination wrapped in excuses. Soft lamps and Netflix might feel cozy, but they illuminate a slow decay of your potential. Every moment spent waiting for the perfect conditions is a moment lost. Risk is inevitable on the path of growth, but so is reward. The longer you delay, the heavier the burden of regret becomes. You don't need to be ready. You need to start. Avoiding discomfort doesn't save you from pain. It just swaps one kind of pain for another. When you choose to stay inside comfort, you trade immediate discomfort for the slow ache of what-ifs, the grief of unused talent, the silent death of dreams postponed, and the quiet regret of a life only half-lived. The pain of not choosing is heavier because it grows quietly, filling the spaces where joy and fulfillment should be. Discomfort is temporary. Regret can last a lifetime. Choosing discomfort is choosing growth, choosing life. Avoiding it is choosing a slow death of your potential. The question is, which pain are you willing to carry? People often ask, how do I know when to leave my comfort zone? The answer is simple. When it starts to itch, when the familiar begins to irritate you. That itch, the friction, the restlessness, the nagging feeling is the first sign of growth. Discomfort is your internal compass, pointing you toward your next step. If you're asking whether it's time, it means the answer is already yes. That itch means your soul is ready to stretch, to explore, to become more than it is. Don't wait for a sign from outside. The feeling inside is all you need to know. It's time to move. Growth is messy. Like a snake shedding its skin, you have to let go of old layers that no longer fit. It's raw and vulnerable, sometimes painful, sometimes terrifying. But shedding is necessary. You can't evolve by holding on to worn-out narratives, old fears, or outdated versions of yourself. Each layer you shed reveals a truer, freer version of you underneath. It's uncomfortable because it's unfamiliar. But transformation doesn't happen in comfort. It happens when you rip off the old skin, expose your raw self to the light, and trust that you'll grow into something stronger and more beautiful. This shedding is the heartbeat of evolution. Comfort kills creativity, connection, and momentum. It whispers, stay safe, don't rock the boat. But boats are meant to be rocked. The only way to know if they float is to stir the waters, to challenge the status quo, to risk capsizing. Rocking the boat is uncomfortable because it disrupts the illusion of control. It makes waves that shake people around you, but it's necessary if you want to move forward. If you keep everything calm and still, you'll never know how strong your boat is. So, yeah, embrace the rocking, make noise, stir things up. That's how you grow, create, and truly live. Comfort zones aren't only built from fear, they're also built from success. You achieve something, then coast. You rest on your laurels, thinking mastery means arrival. But mastery is not an endpoint. It's a process of constant reinvention. Being good at something isn't the same as being alive in it. Success can lull you into comfort just as easily as fear can. It's easy to get stuck in the routine of what worked before and forget to keep challenging yourself. Growth means shaking off the dust of past victories and asking, what's next? It's about evolving, not settling. Sometimes you have to burn the script, break the loop, and say yes before you're ready. Growth demands boldness. It asks you to speak risky truths, to lean toward fear instead of away from it. It means destroying old stories that no longer serve you and stepping into the unknown. Burning it all down is terrifying because it means letting go of control, certainty, and comfort. But it's also freeing. When you burn the old script, you create space for new possibilities. It's the fire that forges your next self. So, light that match and don't be afraid to watch the old you burn away. Everything you want lies beyond your comfort zone. You don't have to kill the fear, you just have to carry it. Fear is a torch, not a chain. It can light the way forward, show you what matters most, and keep you alert. Carry your fear like a friend, not a foe. Don't let it paralyze you or hold you back. Instead, let it fuel your courage and keep your heart alive. Fear isn't a sign that you should stop. It's a reminder that you're on the edge of something important. Carry it with grace, with power, and with fierce determination. If you want to feel alive, really alive, you have to choose the pulse. That pulse is the raw, unfiltered experience of leaping into uncertainty, sweating through fear, and shivering in the cold of the unknown. You don't choose this pulse because you love pain, but because you love yourself enough to demand more. You refuse to settle for numbness or mediocrity. Choosing the pulse means choosing growth, transformation, and the messy beauty of becoming. It means waking up every day, ready to fight for your life, your dreams, and your truth. It's hard, but it's worth every beat. There will never be a perfect moment. You may crash, you may burn, but that pain is sacred. It means you're trying, pushing, living, far better than the numbness of standing still, watching life pass you by. Numbness is the slow death of the soul, a quiet surrender to comfort's cage. Growth demands risk, and risk comes with pain. But pain is the language of life, changing inside you. So stop waiting for perfect timing. Stop waiting for safety. Lean into the sacred pain of becoming, because that's where you find your power and your freedom. Your comfort zone isn't your home, it's a cage. But here's the wildest part. The door's been open this whole time. You've been carrying invisible keys, but fear, doubt, and habit keep you inside. It's easy to forget that you can step out anytime. The cage is a mental trap. You can dismantle one thought at a time. You don't need permission or perfect conditions. Freedom is just a choice away. The hardest part is realizing that the prison walls were illusions all along. Walk out, live free. If you agree, ink, rage, repeat, share, like, and subscribe. See you next time.